Some slides plunge straight through shark-infested waters.
Wow!
Others drop from heights that rival skyscrapers. From Shockwave Waterslide, where a family raft ride turns into a high-speed duel, to Brazil, where a single flume dares you to fall from 164 feet, with nothing but gravity. These aren't water parks. They're engineered freefalls with no room for fear. Get ready to witness the 20 extreme water slides you have to see to believe.
Shockwave Waterslide, Dubai. Nothing is random on Shockwave. Every blind turn and every sudden drop is engineered to hit. Rising 157 feet above Aquaventure Dubai, the Trident Tower doesn't just interrupt the skyline, it dominates it. 12 water rides spiral and plunge from its frame, engineered not for comfort, but performance. At its base is Shockwave, the world's first mammoth blast water coaster. Families float together through high-speed turns, powered by forced water propulsion, suspended briefly in wide circular drops. Then they're pulled forward again, as if the current decides who stays above water. Deeper inside the tower, Medusa's lair runs 2 coaster tracks side by side. Each rider moves blind through mirrored turns, listening for the presence of a rival they can't quite see. It's the only true dueling water coaster in existence. The Hydra Racer's ride takes this further. Thin dividers separate the flumes just enough to see a friend or a stranger gaining on you. The walls echo back your speed. Farther up, Odyssey of Terror launches rafts into a near vertical wall, then lets them drop again. Higher still, Blackout sends riders into a vertical plunge, the tallest of its kind across Europe, the Middle East, and Africa. There is no view from the top. Just a trapdoor. Near the edge of the complex, Splasher's Cove mirrors Trident Tower in miniature. Children ride their first racers here, prepping for the real ones, without any warnings or making soft landings. Only scaled-down versions of everything to come. Trident Tower moves 36 million gallons of water every day. Leap of Faith. Waterslide. White fiberglass angles down like a dropped sword. 90-foot drop that launches riders to 60 miles per hour in under 3 seconds. There's not any let-in, you stand and the floor vanishes. Then it's a vertical blur. The clear acrylic tunnel cuts straight through a shark-filled lagoon. You're moving too fast to take in the view, but it's there. Rays, sand tigers, blacktips, circling just inches from the slide's edge. For a moment, the ride trades speed for spectacle. Then it slams you into a still pool before your brain catches up. From a distance, the ride looks ceremonial. Aztec temple styling, towering height, symmetrical lines. Up close, it's all engineered drop. Pure velocity with a predator backdrop. Thematically, it leans hard into myth. Mechanically, it's a vertical chute wrapped in aquarium glass. It doesn't run long, it doesn't need to. This isn't a water coaster. It's a vertical test, and the visual payoff, watching bodies shoot through a shark tunnel with skyscrapers behind them, lands as hard as the drop itself. The slide sits at the heart of Atlantis, the Palm, and shares the skyline with Trident Tower across the complex. The structure's descent is measured at 90 feet, or roughly 9 stories. Tower of Power, Spain. A straight descent from 92 feet leads into a submerged acrylic tunnel flanked by sharks and rays. The slide lines up perfectly with the park's temple-style facade, but behind the themed exterior is a ride that runs on precision and pressure. Speed climbs fast, up to 50 miles per hour, as riders drop through open air before vanishing into the tank. Onlookers crowd the lower deck, watching bodies rip past glass walls at eye level, framed by coral and movement on the other side. Visibility is the point. Every phase of the ride is on display, from drop to splashdown. The slope is steep, the surface polished. The fiberglass glints under the island's sun, creating contrast against the rock and water surrounding it. The entire structure leans into symmetry, with sharp vertical lines that make the descent feel even more direct. Its impact isn't in length or complexity, it's in timing, angle, and the tight frame that captures it all. The shot sells itself. Every run is a photo sequence waiting to happen. The slide reaches 92 feet in height and delivers a descent speed of up to 50 miles per hour through its final tank segment. Captain Spacemaker, Italy. The platform sits 138 feet up, angled at 60 degrees, with a 4-person raft waiting at the edge. Riders face forward in single file. The slide doesn't coil or twist. It falls hard, fast, and wide. As gravity takes hold, speed builds fast, hitting 62 miles per hour by the midpoint. Air pressure slams into the raft, water jets kick from behind, and the descent tightens as bodies lift slightly off the raft floor. It's fast enough that helmets would make sense, but this ride trades gear for exposure. The color scheme hits bright. White slide, teal stripe, open blue sky. The straight shot creates full visibility, and the group format means every reaction is on display. A steep drop with clear visuals the entire way down. It's the kind of scale that dominates a flat coastal park like Caribe Bay. Everything around it feels small by comparison. But it's the ride format, raft, speed, skyline, that ties it visually back to Shockwave, even without the skyscrapers. The total height reaches 138 feet, and riders achieve speeds over 60 miles per hour before leveling off into a long deceleration stretch. Massive Monster Blaster, Texas. Support beams frame a web of elevated track. At the highest point, rafts launch into the first drop before snapping back uphill, driven by high-pressure water jets that keep the momentum locked. Every segment is timed. Every turn is forced. This isn't a single descent. It's a chain of blasts, climbs, and angled plunges that build rhythm through repetition. 2 riders per raft move through enclosed tunnels, wide curves, and short airtime stretches that feel engineered for speed, not splash. The surface is clean. White track, green framing, open to full Texas sun. There's no thematic cover or any effort to blend it into the landscape. It's structure over story, and that structure dominates its section of the park. From a distance, it looks like a roller coaster that swapped rails for water. What sets it apart visually is how much of the ride remains in view. No part disappears for long. The loops, dips, and propulsion points are all exposed, stacked, layered, and moving non-stop. Massive stands at 81 feet, 6 3/4 inches tall, and holds the Guinness World Record as the tallest water coaster on Earth. Daredevil's Peak, Bahamas. Color hits first, deep red slide panels wrapped around a matte black tower. The structure climbs 135 feet above sea level, tapering to a launch point that feeds directly into a tight spiral descent. Once riders drop, the turns come fast, stacked one after another, pulling the body into a controlled spin with zero visibility ahead. The layout winds for 764 feet, threading through enclosed segments and wide curves. Direction changes hit without warning. You can't see any external light but only feel pressure, speed, and sound bouncing off the tube walls. The rhythm of the ride shifts every few seconds, stretching a single drop into a full-body rotation. Set against the open ocean and flat island terrain, the tower dominates the horizon. Ships dock nearby, but the slide is the landmark. It's a different kind of visual impact. Less architectural, more isolated. What sells it is the shape and the scale. It stands alone, and it looks like it was built for altitude, not scenery. Daredevil's Peak rises 135 feet and runs 764 feet in length, making it the tallest waterslide in the Caribbean. High 5 Waterslide, Moravia. 5 uphill launches split the ride into segments. Each climb hits with jet propulsion, lifting the raft up short inclines before sending it back down into a new tunnel, lit from inside with color-tracked effects that shift in sync with speed. The transitions between sections are seamless, maintaining momentum while shifting visual tones, creating a ride that feels alive from start to finish. The entire run stretches 794 feet, starting with a climb of 56 feet and moving through a circuit of enclosed turns, banks, and level-offs. The rhythm breaks from the usual drop-based design. This one's all about pacing and re-acceleration. Riders don't just fall, they get pulled, pushed, lifted, and dropped in cycles that reset expectations at every turn. The layout stays enclosed for most of the ride, but lighting tech gives the illusion of transparency. Every section carries a visual identity, pulsing reds, greens, or gradients that switch on entry. The rafts stay locked into 2-person formations, riding tight curves with controlled momentum that holds through every incline and descent. From the outside, the structure is less imposing, but viewed from above, it's a full system of loops and climbs with little wasted track. It's built for motion, not spectacle, but the visuals inside the ride carry the weight where it counts. High 5 spans 794 feet and reaches a total elevation change of 56 feet across its 5 blaster sections, making it the longest and most dynamic water slide in Czechia. Rise of Icarus, USA. Weight shifts forward as the floor gives out. The slide opens into a near vertical line and gravity handles the rest. From the top of the 145-foot tower, the experience starts without warning, just a clean drop known as the fall, engineered to erase the distance between platform and splash in seconds. Built as the centerpiece of a multi-slide structure, this one cuts the tallest profile in the country. Angled for acceleration, the fiberglass flume channels wind and water with tight precision. Riders stay rigid as the structure pulls them downward faster than expected, forcing impact before the brain can fully react. Every component stays in plain view. White framework, bare staircases, stripped surfaces. The design prioritizes function. From the ground, the tower reads like a scaffold built for descent, each slide attached at a different level, but only one claiming full elevation. Surroundings fade into the background. Trees, resort roofs, parking lots, they flatten beneath the tower's outline. It rises with deliberate contrast, a single engineered structure built to out-height everything around it. The fall delivers uninterrupted speed, from the instant the floor disappears to the moment water takes over. It doesn't twist, loop, or bank. It descends with purpose. This isn't themed. It isn't subtle. It's height converted into velocity, framed in steel and fiberglass. The fall reaches a verified height of 145 feet and became the tallest water slide in the United States upon opening in 2024. Kiribati Plunge, USA. Near the summit of a manufactured volcano in Orlando, Florida, the Kiribati Plunge waits behind a curved plastic door. Riders stand alone, arms crossed, feet placed carefully on a translucent panel. Without delay, the trapdoor releases. The descent follows a sharp 70-degree angle. The drop measures 125 feet, but speed erases distance. Water slams against the body, and breath cuts short as gravity pulls straight through. Light bends. The splash pool arrives faster than reflex can prepare for it. Steering isn't part of the experience. The track is narrow, the fall direct, the path predetermined. Every launch is singular. One rider per cycle, one vertical release, one impact to reset. The volcano, Krakatoa, encloses the ride. Stone, mist, and carved channels surround the structure, giving the descent a theatrical setting. While the exterior shifts with sunlight and shadow, the ride inside remains fixed in function. Weight restrictions cap riders at 300 pounds. Height requirements begin at 4 feet. A backstory links the drop to a volcano god named Vol, a ritual offering made through courage and silence. But that's myth. What happens here is about design, timing, and raw vertical velocity. Unlike winding slides or water coasters, Kiribati offers precision. It doesn't curve or stall. It falls, clean and fast. The ride holds the record as the steepest body slide in Universal's Volcano Bay, with a drop that runs 125 feet at an angle of 70 degrees, engineered for single-rider, high-intensity free fall. Vertigo, Spain. Glass panels wrap the capsule at the top of the tower. Below, the city stretches wide and the Mediterranean cuts into the horizon. The view is short-lived. The trapdoor releases without warning. The descent that follows runs 108 feet at a peak speed of 62 miles per hour. Riders begin standing upright. The floor gives way and the body drops. Air surrounds everything. Fiberglass channels the momentum in a single vertical path built for gravity and timing. 2 capsules operate on parallel flumes. Launches are staggered just enough to keep the visuals intact, preserving the silhouette of a clean drop with every run. The full tower reaches 138 feet, though the top section serves as visual lead-in and launch frame, not ride surface. Viewed from the park grounds, the slide cuts an unmistakable profile. Steel supports, access ladders, clear tubes, all visible from every angle. Spectators can follow the entire ride in real time, down to the precise instant when the floor drops out and the fall begins. It's engineered for simplicity and intensity. The thrill is compressed into seconds. That compression is part of the design. Vertigo's maximum drop measures 108 feet, and the full tower rises 138 feet above Aqualandia in Benidorm. When it debuted, the slide held the record as the tallest capsule launch body slide in Europe. built entirely around raw height and vertical release.
Let's dive in. It's finally time for the open discussion.
This is the most mind-blowing water slide in all of the world, and you won't believe where it drops you. Imagine cruising down a sky-high slide surrounded by towering skyscrapers and desert landscapes. Where are we? Is this Dubai or a futuristic resort from a sci-fi movie? And how high up do you think this wild ride starts? One wrong twist and you're plunging into what looks like the edge of the earth. Would you dare take the plunge? Drop your thoughts below and don't forget to mention #OpenDiscussion. Kilimanjaro, Brazil. A single flume descends from a 164-foot launch, framed by open hills and still reservoir water. The slope cuts sharp against the sky, bordered by steel rails and uninterrupted air. Riders cross their arms, lean back, and give into gravity from the highest platform on any body slide worldwide. This isn't a hybrid ride. There's no raft beneath the rider, no jets forcing momentum, and nothing mechanical altering the descent. Just a free-fall slide, taken in one long drop. Speed builds quickly, past 60 miles per hour within seconds, and never fades. There's no leveling out, just a long glide and sudden impact. Surrounding attractions shrink in its presence. Nearby structures fall out of view beneath its full height. The approach is raw, stairs built into exposed framing, polished fiberglass, and a platform perched 16 stories above the park floor. The presentation relies on the essentials: elevation, surface, and velocity. From the base, the structure looks industrial. From a distance, it's a clean wedge carved into sky. The lack of decoration sharpens the profile. The angle stays visible from end to end, rare for slides of this size. Kilimanjaro doesn't hide its height or try to distract from its function. It's built for speed and recognition, stripping away excess in favor of one purpose: maximum drop, visible from every angle. Standing at 164 feet tall, Kilimanjaro holds the world record as the tallest freestanding body water slide currently in operation. Vertigo and the Fractionator, Qatar. In Lusail, Qatar, a single structure clears the horizon line. Taller than the Statue of Liberty, higher than most rooftops in the city. It isn't just part of the skyline, it breaks it. Vertigo, engineered by Whitewater West, opened on November 29, 2023. Built inside Mariel Water Park, it reaches a verified height of 250 feet, 4 inches. Standing beside it is its twin, Fractionator. Both are identical in height and function, sharing the title of tallest water slides on Earth. At the top, a translucent pod encases the rider. The space is tight, just wide enough to stand. Once the countdown hits 0, the trapdoor releases and the descent begins. The drop runs vertical. Skin hits fiberglass. Wind accelerates. Within seconds, pressure climbs, sight blurs, and sound fades. Just a direct fall engineered to strip out hesitation. From top to bottom, the ride lasts under 7 seconds. It feels longer. The body registers speed, but the brain struggles to keep pace. This isn't freefall simulation. It's real gravitational drop from the height of a 25-story building. Every element has been measured, tested, and reinforced to withstand velocity and impact without compromise. Vertigo doesn't mask its design with theming or scenery. It delivers scale, speed, and exposure. As of October 6, 2024, Mariel Water Park holds the Guinness World Record for the tallest water slide on the planet, with 2 identical structures reaching 250 feet, 4 inches. Summit Plummet, USA. The ski jump frozen mid-launch sets the backdrop. The slide drops directly beneath it, 120 feet of steep fiberglass aimed at a narrow splash lane. Riders push forward without a raft, exposed to wind and speed as momentum takes over. The slope descends fast enough to hide most of the track from sight until motion begins. For 360 feet, the flume runs uninterrupted before tapering into a low-impact pool designed to absorb high velocity. There are no curves, diversions, or slow zones. Every inch is built for descent. The surrounding theme plays with extremes: fake snow, palm trees, icy visuals in full Florida heat. It's a contrast that amplifies the structure, but the slide doesn't rely on scenery. Height, angle, and tension at the launch point create the focus. Onlookers gather just to watch the pause before release. From below, the slide appears carved into the mountain. From above, it vanishes beneath the body before vision has time to catch up. The initial seconds mute sound entirely, broken only by wind. then the impact of re-entry at the base. Summit Plummet doesn't twist or ease into its layout. It commits from the first inch to the last. This is a vertical run measured in distance, speed, and silence. The ride reaches a total height of 120 feet and extends 360 feet in length, regularly hitting speeds of 60 miles per hour, making it one of the tallest and fastest body slides in North America. King Cajuna, Spain. At the edge of a Caribbean-themed zone in Tarragona, Spain, a single structure rises from behind palm trees and decorative stone. It's not a temple, it's not a tower, it's King Cajuna. At 102 feet tall, it holds the title of Europe's tallest freefall waterslide. The angle, 55 degrees. The velocity, up to 20 feet per second. The descent feels longer than it is. Riders drop without a raft, harness, or companion. Just water, slope, and air resistance. There's a story attached about a Hawaiian child raised by dolphins, chasing the largest wave to prove himself worthy of a throne. But at the top of King Cajuna, the narrative stops. The only sound is the machinery pumping water across fiberglass. The slide's slope is steep, but not vertical, which means there's just enough friction to stretch out the descent. Riders don't plummet. They accelerate, then skip across the surface like debris in floodwater. The splashdown is shallow, controlled, and immediate. Everything is designed for throughput. A short ride, a high turnover, a tightly managed thrill. And yet, each drop feels like it lasts too long. Glass Waterslide, Malaysia. Transparent panels wrap the ride from launch to splashdown. Light passes through the structure as riders move along a 1,968-foot path that clings to the side of a 197-foot tower. The slide stays suspended, wrapping the height in loops and slow curves that trade on exposure more than speed. Every angle is built for visibility. The slide doesn't hide behind color or structure. It frames the city below with each turn. The glass surface exaggerates the height. At points, the only thing between the rider and the pavement is a layer of acrylic, tinted just enough to reflect sky. This isn't a vertical drop. It's a scenic descent with deliberate pacing. The turns are smooth, the transitions wide. It's less about adrenaline and more about tension, the kind that builds when you're suspended hundreds of feet in the air with nowhere to look but down. From a distance, the slide coils like a clear ribbon around the tower. Up close, the illusion holds. Daylight floods the tube. Every rider is fully visible in motion. Sky City's glass slide runs nearly 1,968 feet in length and launches from a height of 197 feet, making it the longest transparent water slide in Malaysia. L2 double looping, Austria. The capsule seals and everything outside disappears. Inside, it's quiet, narrow, and upright, just enough room to cross your arms and brace. When the trapdoor triggers, the floor drops, and the slide does exactly what the name promises. The initial free fall builds speed fast, pushing the rider straight into the first horizontal loop. Unlike vertical twists or spirals, this one bends outward with full force, keeping the rider pinned to the wall as the slide arcs into a second loop. The momentum doesn't fade between them. Pressure stays tight, the body locked into centrifugal hold until the final stretch eases out into a long brake lane. Visually, the ride wraps in red. The loops curve in full view from outside the structure, giving the slide a clean silhouette. The color doesn't shift, but the motion inside is disorienting enough that lighting effects would be overkill. It's speed, loop, loop, and done. Built by Aquarina, the slide was the first of its kind to use double-loop engineering with trapdoor launch mechanics. It opened in Austria's Vergler Wasserwelt and remains the only slide in the country with this layout. The profile stands out, lean, circular, fully visible, without relying on height or scale. From entry to splashdown, the entire run lasts under 15 seconds, but the dual-loop format compresses more movement into that time than most longer slides ever attempt. L2's drop measures approximately 40 feet before entering 2 full horizontal loops inside a closed fiberglass system. Insano, Brazil. A stair tower slices through open sky, leading to a platform positioned 135 feet above the ground. There's no capsule enclosing the rider, no raft beneath them, and nothing above to soften the exposure. A single fiberglass track drops in a clean vertical line toward a narrow splash zone below. Riders lie back, arms crossed, and release. The descent lasts less than 5 seconds. The slope hovers just shy of vertical, steep enough to lift the body slightly from the surface before gravity pulls it back down hard. Speeds peak near 62 miles per hour, compressing the full experience into a few seconds of blurred air, water, and reaction. Engineered for height, Insano doesn't twist, curve, or tunnel. It offers one uninterrupted run from top to bottom. The layout is direct. The impact is full. The design strips away variation in favor of absolute descent. From the side, the structure resembles infrastructure more than sculpture. Bright supports, raw stairs, and a visible flume set against the blue Atlantic horizon. It stands rigid against Cearà's coastline, marking the skyline with its single vertical edge. Every phase of the ride stays in view. Onlookers track each launch from platform to landing. The exposure intensifies the anticipation. Every second visible, every drop measurable. Insano reaches a confirmed height of 135 feet and held the global title for tallest freefall body slide when it opened at Beach Park in Brazil in 1989, establishing a benchmark still referenced in extreme slide design. The Expirado, Brazil, a giant piranha head, marks the entrance. Riders pass through the open jaws and disappear into a dark, enclosed tube that drops into silence. The first stretch coils slowly, built to disorient. No light, no outside reference, just curve after curve in complete blackout. Then, the pitch changes. The final third opens into a steep drop, and daylight hits just as speed takes over. Riders shoot out of the final segment and crash into a shallow landing pool just over 4 feet deep. The transition from darkness to daylight adds punch, forcing a visual reset in the middle of a high-speed descent. The entire ride lasts around 17 seconds from start to splash. It's not the tallest, but the presentation stretches the experience. Themed buildings, skull signage, and rusted metal fences line the exterior queue. The design leans into dystopia without soft edges. Dry, cracked textures, and jagged props everywhere. The piranha's mouth looms large, cartoonish but sharp. Unlike freefall slides that rely on altitude alone, Expirado stages the thrill. It breaks the ride into segments: slow let-in, blackout spiral, sudden acceleration, hard finish. Each part is tuned for contrast, not just speed. Viewed from outside, the final drop is the only visible section. Everything else is buried in theme or tunnel. That choice adds mystery, but also tension. Expirado stands at 102 feet tall and runs 466 feet in length, making it one of Brazil's longest themed body slides. Glass Slide, China. The path cuts across green mountains, held up by steel supports and clear acrylic sheets. From above, the slide looks like a glass ribbon stretched through trees and rock walls. At ground level, the structure hovers, never quite touching the terrain, always elevated just enough to expose the full drop underneath. Built for distance, not speed, the ride follows natural elevation changes along a winding route. It turns wide, dips gently, and lets the landscape lead. Riders sit in inflatable tubes and coast through more than a mile of mountain air, without visual barrier between them and the drop below. Sunlight reflects off the clear floor, and every shift in slope gives the illusion of weightlessness. The visuals carry the experience. Open air, sharp turns, long glides. It's not built to shock. It's designed to linger. The structure blends modern material with rural terrain. Glass, steel, bolts, and cables hang between trees while hikers and visitors move along trails below. Nothing's hidden. The ride's full length stays visible from multiple angles, and the framing reads more like a suspended bridge than a typical slide. This isn't a vertical thrill or a rapid descent. It's elevation drawn out slowly and visually. Duration replaces height. Transparency replaces theming. The slide runs 7,438 feet from top to bottom, making it the longest glass-bottom water slide in the world, certified by the World Record Certification Agency. Niagara Slide, Canada. In two separate corners of the world, the name Niagara anchors two very different slide experiences. One built for exposed speed, the other for indoor height and variety. At Aqualand Agen in France, the Niagara slide climbs 66 feet into open air. Riders push off into a steep incline that shifts immediately into a series of bump hills. The design builds momentum on impact and releases it in quick bursts across each crest. Speed holds through the full length of the slide, flattening only at the runout. Manufactured by ProSlide, the structure prioritizes surface, rhythm, and raw drop sensation. The slide's profile is direct. Bright flume, exposed framework, and a clear path visible from entry to exit. Each bump intensifies the descent without slowing it down. From the base, the slope looks continuous, but every ridge adds another hit of pressure. Across the Atlantic, Falls View Indoor Water Park in Niagara Falls, Ontario, offers a different approach. Enclosed within a 3-acre facility, the park features 6-story slides wrapped in a climate-controlled space. Riders move through tubes, spirals, and translucent segments that overlook the city skyline and the actual falls beyond. The Canadian layout blends speed with scale, integrating 16 slides, a wave pool, multi-level play structure, and adult-only spa features. The visual emphasis is on density and indoor spectacle. At 66 feet tall, Niagara in Aegean ranks among France's tallest open-air speed slides, while Falls View's vertical drops push indoor slide design to the limits of enclosed engineering. Thanks for sticking with us. We hope you found this useful. If you have questions or feedback, drop us a line, stay tuned for more updates, and until next time, take care and keep moving forward.